Hi and welcome to Music Girl. Today's video we'll be talking about why does the music industry lean so much on nostalgia. This video was inspired by the constant search of throwbacks to the 90s and 2000s, and I wanted to dive into the impact that nostalgia has on music. So firstly, what is nostalgia? It is defined as a wistful desire to return in thought or in fact to a former time in one's life, to one's home or homeland, or to one's family and friends. A sentimental yearning for the happiness of a former place or time, a nostalgia for something. And this definition is by Collins Diary. And in the context of music, this is used by revisiting old music that people have happy memories to, or rather, the music was played during a time when things were more simple for them, notably the hits or rather popular songs that were played then. How does the music industry use nostalgia? Samples. Producers take an already existing song that may have been a hit back in the day, and notably now the 90s and early 2000s music, they flip, tweak, or use a sped up version of the song to make a different beat, and they may or may not remove the original vocals or ad libs. History of sampling. In an article by Connor Edney, the origins of sampling are dated back to the 1940s. He says, open quote, into the 1950s and 60s, we begin to see these new sampling techniques seep into commercial music with recording legends such as the Beatles and Marvin Gaye. Recording artists began copying and pasting segments of other tracks and spoken word mediums into their own music to create what you could call a sound collage. End quote. He also mentions that through this technique, hip hop was born. Kool Herc, who was a DJ from the Bronx, called the technique the merry-go-round. A lack of resources was said to have birthed the idea. From then on, commercial sampling technology came in, and they were so expensive that only top recording studios could afford them. But laws were made that tightened the copyright infringement terms, and that way royalty-free sampling libraries were created. Songs with samples. Although we can sit here and mention all the songs that have samples in them, here are the top three I chose. Victoria Monet's On My Mama samples Charlie Boy's I Look Good, produced by JB Easy and released 2008 through Drive. The sample does not take away from Victoria in a way that you would think that the song is hers. Nicki Minaj's Super Freak Girl samples three tracks, namely Super Freak by Rick James, released 1981, and it was used mostly in the production of the beat. Her own song, Remix, featuring PTAF, released in 2013 in vocals and lyrics, Eeny Meeny Miny Mo, a traditional folk, released in 1815 in vocals and lyrics. Drake's Hotline Bling samples Why Can't We Love Together by Timmy Thomas, which was released in 1972. Fashion. When capturing an era, artists used their clothes to make a statement as well. With the 90s and 2000s fashion making the rounds again, artists have used what they wear to reflect back to those times. It's just this constant callback to the peak of the entertainment industry. Fashion aesthetics have now impacted the type of music made as well. So, for example, we have Flo and Normani who have songs that use 2000s inspired music on songs like Cardboard Box, which could be inspired by Irreplaceable by Beyonce, meaning that they kind of make music that emulates the imitation of the 90s and 2000s in this current time, and they're kind of adding a bit of a modern spin on it, but it is clear where their inspiration comes from. Paying homage to their favorite artists. Through the imitation of Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Prince, and Biggie Smalls, to name a few, some of the new generation have paid homage to this artist as their influence and inspiration. Recently, Victoria Monet did that with her Alright music video, from the dancing and outfits, and this is one of my favorite music videos of the year. Visuals. Certain video effects like sepia and blacks and white effects reflect the popular 90s and 2000s music videos. Some artists even go as far as recreating music videos or movies that they have found to be their favorites, like Ariana Grande did for her song Eternal Sunshine. The scenes reflect some of the scenes of the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The 90s and 2000s era in music were quite innovative in a sense that both eras had their own sound, and it boomed in a way that it captures both those decades perfectly without fail. These two decades are like the golden age of music, and I say this because of how people want to imitate the sound so much. This is not to say that the new music or anything made before these decades is any less than. I'm just highlighting the impact it has had since its peak. Why people miss the old Drake? Drake's come up and beginning of his career helped him to form a solid fan base through his label Young Money, as he and Nicki Minaj were in a co-sign to Lil Wayne. I found a Reddit thread on what people mean by the old Drake, and this is what I found. So R. Drizzy said, "Here's what I think most fans mean by the old Drake. When we say want the old Drake, we mean we want to know more about Drake, not Drake's riches, not how nice his plane is. I want to hear about whoever the new Courtney from Hooters on Peachtree is, who left him heartbroken. I want to hear more about how his mom and the six changed his life. I want to hear more about those abandonment issues he's getting treated for. Don't get me wrong, I still love Drake's current music, but the music Drake used to get a lot more personal on songs. You can still see glimpses of that in songs like Hours in Silence and Champagne Poetry, so we know it's still in him." Kitchen Dimension 46 said, "Drake is an artist who talks about the current moments and things of his life in his music. Every album is like a personal diary. Expecting him to still talk about these high school experiences now, it's not gonna even feel the same. I think it's exciting to hear how life has changed from that and evolved and see him compared to that in the past. That's all would be nice to hear." Tato Flowers said, "Nah, real fans just want to hear what he did on Rico 15 times. That's the city is mine Drake that the true ones remember. Old Drake means they want the time when it was all fun and jokes and women, more simple, accessible things, because as big as Drake is now, her loss isn't the most accessible music, like how anybody can listen to Take It and say, damn, there were joints I like and joints I don't. They miss when Drake was trying to be seen as a giant artist, and now that he is, folks feel like he got less to offer, but you can't get those times back, so it's best to take what you can get." These threads just explain the significance and substance that his music once had through other projects. But after projects like Take Care, we see glimpses of the glory days. And honestly, I think that life changed and he isn't as hungry as he used to be. Granted that he gained all the success, and I mean, he got 13 Grammys in 2018. Maybe he did achieve all that he wanted to achieve, and that's how things got here. Conclusion. In conclusion, I think that the music industry is trying to use a formula that once worked, and maybe this is thought of in a perspective that if it ain't broken, then might fix it. But I also think that they are playing on those who grew up and experienced the 90s and 2000s to reel them back into the past when things were, in a sense, better to some. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below, and thank you guys for watching. Music Girl signing out.